Hello everybody, it's Jayma here. Today we're going to make some gift tags and I'm going to focus on some fun ways to use embossing folders. This is a collaboration with some of my team members and actually I'm posting a bit late, so I know Callia posted a gorgeous layout and showed a trick to get the embossed look all the way across a 12-inch strip without having a seam. So check out her video. It will be linked down in the description below, as well as the playlist at the end of this video. So I'm going to show you several variations of tags, and my inspiration came from this tag right here. I got a package of these at TJ Maxx, and I just thought they were so pretty. They could be used as is. They're super cute, but I thought I am going to just zhuzh them up a little bit, and then it's also springboarding me into some other ideas. So this is how we started. And then I'm going to do a little bit of an inking treatment, and then also a little bit of a treatment to make this stand out with some gold paste. And I haven't done that on this yet, but you can see where I'm going. I love a layered look, whether it's tags or cards or scrapbook layouts. I love layers, and so having the two tags together is just really fun. And then layering up, I kept this very simple still. The snowflake came on there, and then I just added a die on top. This die is from this set of 3, which is part of the add-on to the paper pumpkin for Q4. So this tag and the little Mary and this little fern leaf all come as a set. So if you are subscribed to Paper Pumpkin, these are designed to coordinate with those paper pumpkin kits for Q4. So I also cut this tag out, and that looks like this. It's got this fun stitching detail and then just a little bit of a different topper than some of the other tags. So I'm going to show you those in a moment, but that is where the Mary came from, and I stacked it up 3 high so it has a little bit of dimension. So I'm going to show you how to do the inking treatment we're going to do here, how to do the embossing, how to do this stamping. So this stamping was a result of this, being inspired by that. Now you could take it a step further and use some Versamark ink and red tinsel embossing powder. This is from Ranger. I believe this is available on Amazon. I'll link it for you if you're interested. I opted not to do that just because I wanted to keep these very simple. This was just one stamp, so I just stamped it down one time and got the whole thing covered, and then I did the inking treatment that I'll show you. And this one I'm just going to keep as is. It's super simple. Now if you're wondering where the to and from is going to go, I keep a Sharpie in my wrapping area, and honestly I just write to and from in a Sharpie. I don't worry about having pretty stamping and all of that. I just do it with a Sharpie. That way it's really easy to see too, because it's kind of dark when we're opening presents. We open Christmas Eve actually, and so it's easy to flip over and see right away who that gift is for when it's in a Sharpie. So you can use any tags that you have in your stash. So I've shown a variety here. This one is from this set right here, Designer Tags, and that's this one here, but there's several different tags in here, and there's even these little elements that are designed to cut into the tag to give a fun little design in there. So that's how that looks. I really like the top of that. It's just very elegant, and I thought, you know what, I could add more to this, but I don't really need to. So I'm just going to keep that as is. Now you can use just a rectangle. You can cut just a rectangle, and what I'm planning to do with this one is just cut or punch a little hole in the corner and have it that way. So this is the perennial postage dies, and I used this third from the smallest rectangle here for that size, and it just gives an interesting shape to the tag. But again, you can use just a regular rectangle. There are these greetings of the season dies, so I've cut this one right here. Looks like this. These all have this fun little pierced detail around the edge, so that's another fun look. And then they're designed to go with this stamp set, Greetings of the Season. And if you wanted to stamp, you could do the to and from on here. And there's lots of other stamps that you could stamp on the tags as well. There's also these good old standby favorites from close to my heart. The All-Purpose Tags is where this one came from, and there's a whole bunch of other tags here. This one actually looks kind of like an ornament to me. That one's fun. This is the Tabs and Tags, and that's where this one came from. This is actually my favorite because I really like this size of tag for typically the packages that I have. And so I did most of mine with this die right here. And then there's also this big one here from Buildable Tags that I cut a couple from, but there's also a smaller one and a bunch of other shapes on this one too. So really any tag shapes that you have, or just cut a rectangle. So what I did for this, because this was already, this one was store-bought, I just lined up my paper and cut around it and then cut the little notches to match. So super, super simple. You can just, very easily cut a tag shape yourself. And, if you don't want to mess with the dies or anything, or if you don't have dies or a die cut machine, you can still very easily make some cute tags. So I have a variety of embossing folders. This one is the Distress Tile. I really, really love this one, and I'll be using that quite a bit. I'll also be using this Snowflake Sky 3D embossing folder, and that's the one that I used here. And I believe this one is actually on back order till almost Christmas, but that's a really fun one as well. And then this one has 3 trees on it, and if you line up your tag in there, you could get the tree, offset a little bit, and I think that that would be really cute to add some interest. We've got the Timber 3D, which would add a wood grain look. I even pulled out the zinnias because even though they're not Christmas, I think that it would be really, really pretty. It's just adding some fun detail to your tags just for that extra little special touch. And no one's going to say like, oh, that's not a Christmas flower. I think that would be perfectly suitable for Christmas and beautiful. So, use the embossing folders that you have. This one here was on clearance a little while back, and that would be really pretty too. You could center it or have it over here. Use maybe one of the smaller tags to line up better over here, and that would be beautiful as well. We've got the Birchwood. This is a larger, I think this probably would be suitable for one of the larger tags, but adds this really fun birchwood look. And this is what Callia used on her layout for an outdoor walk, photos that she did, and it was really, really beautiful. And then this Forever Plaid too. That would be really pretty to add just some interest to any of your tags. So use what you have, use what you love. I think any of these would work beautifully. So let me show you the inking treatment and the stamping, and then this little paste treatment that we're going to do. All right, so let me bring in a scrap piece of paper here. You could work on an all-purpose mat, but since I'm going to be using 2 different colors, I didn't want to have to keep wiping off my mat. So let me show you the difference. This is Crumb Cake, which is like a light craft color. This is just that same color, but with Pecan Pie ink blending over top to kind of darken it and give it that vignette. And so that helps give it that darker craft color too. That's exactly what I did on these ones as well. Now this is real red. I love this color red for Christmas. And this one has real red inking over the top, just around the edges. And this one does not. Now this is already embossed and it does not have the inking yet. And I recommend doing the embossing first and then the inking, because if you don't, this takes quite a while to dry once you ink it, and if you run it through the embossing folder, you're going to get ink in your embossing folder. Now it's easy to wipe off, easy to clean, but it's just one extra step to have to do. So it's up to you. If you want to emboss first, this will work just fine, or you can emboss after you ink. So I have this one already embossed, and I'm going to open up my real red ink and grab a blending brush. And then this is so simple. You're just going to go in circles around the edge, and you don't need a lot of ink, just a couple little taps. And do you see already the difference that's making? It is going to lighten back a little bit, But look at that kind of vignette look we have over here and that deepening that we have, and I think it helps that embossing stand out versus over here where we haven't done yet. I just think that this makes such a difference. Of course, it is totally optional. I'm trying to keep these tags very simple and quick, but still have a beautiful impact, because I don't like to spend a ton of time on tags. I would rather scrapbook, or, you know, I've got Christmas cards to finish making and sending out too, but I need some tags. And so I want to make them, you know, really quick, but really cute. So there we go. We have that red one all done. Now, if you wanted to emboss after, it's going to be the same process, but we are just going to do the inking before. And but I think also by doing it after, it does help to make those little embossed areas stand out more, where you're not going to get that so much if you do it before. So really, really pretty. Let me show you again one that hasn't been done. This one almost looks pinkier. It just really deepens it up and gives it, I think it gives it life. It just adds such a nice difference. So let me pull in the pecan pie. Now again, it's crumb cake paper, but I'm using the pecan pie. You could use pecan pie cardstock, but I thought that the snowflakes would show up a little bit better on the lighter color. So this is why I'm doing it on paper this way. If I would have had to wipe this up, otherwise I'd get red smeared into my brown if I was working on an all-purpose mat or glass mat or something. And that could be an advantage. Whoops. That could be an advantage because you don't have to use as much ink. You can just keep swiping from what's left on your surface, on your glass mat or whatever. But, you know, for a video, I just didn't want to have to stop and do that and everything. Okay, so this is going to be our top layer. Now from the die cutting, you can see a little bit of a line here from that die. It's not going to show up too bad. And you can see it's kind of just blended away on here. Now, if you were to use this as your second layer, like I'm actually going to pull in some patterned paper to make something like this, where we have, you know, it's even more simple. We can use, I cut these strategically. I used the Sentimental Christmas, and don't want to get ink on that, but I actually cut these strategically. So one of the little, oops, where did it go? Well, one of them, I cut the little stocking out of here, but I was careful to poke a hole and cut around it so that if I wanted to, especially this side, I can use this as a mat around a scrapbook layout if I want. So I did that on all of these that I cut out of this paper. I really liked these trees, so I cut the trees, but then the back is this cool like candy cane stripe. So I can still, you know, gut this part out if I wanted to and use this as a border around a scrapbook layout. So just something to keep in mind when you're working on projects like this that require smaller pieces of paper. I love, love, love this, and I think that would be cute as a background too. If I decide not to use it as a background, no big deal. I still have plenty of area to cut strips or cut pieces for my layouts. And then here's the back of that one. And then I just thought that these little reindeer were so cute. So I did one out of that, and it's like perfectly centered. So, so cute. The Sentimental Christmas, I don't see myself using it on layouts a ton, but I thought it was so cute for tags and for cards. So that's what I plan on using this mostly for, although I'm hoping to get at least a layout done. I love this one, and I just thought this was so pretty. And this is the back. That would make really cute tags as well. And so what I did was I just took my little die. I don't have it right here, but I you know, held it around to see where I like it. And yeah, I want it positioned because a die you can see through, right? So you can see like, yeah, I want to cut it right here. So then I poked a hole with my scissors and I cut around it, and then that way I still have this whole border. But this one, I really wanted to preserve at least one of these because this would be really cute, you know, cut in half and used on two sides of a layout. So I wanted to keep this one in place. But I got several tags from here, and then this one actually is from this one here, and this is such a beautiful paper. You might remember a couple of videos ago I made ornaments out of this paper for a layout, and so I used one of the scraps from here. You can see that I cut right here for the top, and so I've got my cute little layer. So in the 31 Days of Christmas cards, Andrea mentioned that this paper reminds her of Army, and now I can't unsee it. But I still think it's really pretty, and so I just layered it up with some little die cuts that I have. This is one of the things that's so fun about tags, is you can just start layering things up. I have a little tray of things that I've die cut. This is from the season of green and gold. I cut one of the whole sheets that coordinates with the dies. I could have, layered that on top, and then, do my little reindeer, or just do the reindeer. So the reindeer is from Reindeer Days, and that actually has a coordinating die to cut out the paper and the stamps. And this is actually in the last chance section. There's now a last chance section on Stampin' Up's website, and it's clearance stuff. Some of it is not discounted. It's just last chance, letting you know it's going soon. But there's also some really, really good clearance deals in there. So I'll link the last chance section for you down in the description below, as well as a link to everything else that I'm using, so you can check it out if you'd like. But anyways, I love just taking my little bits that I've cut over the season from making cards and layouts and stuff. And then there's also this mix and match ephemera, which is also in the last chance section. And I could have layered some of this on it. So let's take this for example. I was gonna just leave this as is, but that would be really cute with this little candy cane. There's this little green candy cane too. I could layer those up even together like that. And then I know there's some bows in here. That could be cute. And then just like that, you've got a little tag decorated with these, and they would be really cute to put those up on some dimensionals too, to give them a little bit of dimension. But these are a great addition if you have these for cards and tags, and that would make a really cute tag. So I always keep these close by when I'm making tags or cards, and it really makes it easy to just kind of pull things in and use them. And that's exactly what I did on this reindeer, because I have some reindeer in here that I've cut, and then I had some, these are actually cut with Close to My Heart pine, but I inked over it with this mossy meadow color, so it kind of made it a little closer to mossy meadow. It's not perfect. And then I had these little pieces in there, and I'm actually going to add this bow, so I wanted to show you how to do that. Okay, so we've got this inked, and I might actually use this one as the back to here, because I think that looks good. I was thinking I was going to use red to back everything, and this would work fine too, but this is actually Poppy Parade. It's a little bit more of like an orangey pinky red versus this one, but I think that would look fine. But I actually really like this, so maybe I could do some red twine or red ribbon hanging. I actually have this red, which I think is Poppy Parade, that I can use. So let me emboss this, and then I'm going to put a couple of tags together for you. Okay, so let's pull this together. We've got this one, which we're going to pair with this and do the stamping on it. And then this one I am going to pair with this. And I don't think I need anything on here because we already cut out that cute scene. That is how simple that one is. So let's do the stamping. I'm gonna grab my red. So you can go just around the edges like this, which is what I did to kind of mimic this look here. Or you can cover the whole thing like this. And I think that's actually what I'm gonna do because I liked that look. Now I'm just very gently tapping. With the cling stamps, you have to be careful because if you tap too hard, or even if you tap lightly but just hard enough, it's really easy to get ink around these edges. So just make sure that you don't get that. And I'm going to test it on my scrap paper first. And that looks good. So this tag is a little bigger than that other one I did, so it's going to take 2 stamps. So I'll just start here and do one like that, and then I'll do that again. And for this one, I'm rotating it because I think, well, actually I might need 3 stamps. I'm gonna do one like that, and then I need to get this little nook right here. So it's not gonna be perfect, but that's okay. I've got a little gap there. But that is that. So that's super cute. Now let me show you how we're gonna get the little paste on here. And there are a couple of things that I like to use. All right, I'm gonna bring my silicone mat in because I'm gonna use these two things. I've got Lunar Paste in Gold Rush. This is from Ranger and Simon Hurley, and I really like this stuff. It's a real creamy paste. And then we also have the Metallic Enamel Effects in Gold. This is from Stampin' Up, and it's also very similar to Liquid Pearls. So I'm just gonna squeeze a little bit on there, and we just need a tiny bit. And I'm gonna do this one on this one, I think, because it'll be more of a difference. This one is a little closer to this craft color. So I'm just taking this little, I'm just dabbing it with my finger, and I'm gonna very gently go over so that I'm kind of hitting those raised areas. And if I get it, like I just made a mark there where it's not raised, not a huge deal, but I'm just trying to get mostly those raised areas. And regardless whether you get it on the raised or the lowered areas, it is so, so pretty and just adds a touch of shine. You know, I love shine, and it's just so easy to do. Again, totally optional. If you want to make these quicker, that does not have to be done, but I just think it adds such a nice little extra thing, and I just love the look of it. Now let me show you what the Lunar Paste looks like. Now you don't need an extra mat for that. By the way, this is wipeable because I can just fit my finger right in here. So I'm just gonna grab a little bit, got on my nail too. And I think this one's a little easier to do because there's more raised areas closer together versus where this is, you know, a little more spread out. I'm actually gonna dab a little bit off because you don't need a lot. And I'm just gonna very, very lightly go over that. And see how it's making those raised areas stand out even more. Julie actually did this, and Katie, this technique, a variation of it in our 31 Days of Christmas cards event, which, by the way, we do still have the replay open for that if you are interested, and you can use the ideas for any time of year. It doesn't have to be just Christmas. In fact, this is one of the cards that I made from Julie's class, so you can see the background. Now, she did a little bit extra treatment too, so this is even more detailed than this, but kind of a similar idea. And then she provided us with this music note paper as a printable, which is really cool, but showed how to do this along with several other variations of this card. I think there were 4 total. Okay, so we just need to let those dry. It won't take very long, but here's a close-up of the difference. This is just kind of a deeper gold, and this is more of a yellowy gold, but both very, very pretty. And so I'm gonna let those dry, and we'll come back and assemble our tags. Okay, so it's been about 10 minutes, and these are dry. Doesn't take very long, especially since it's such a thin coat. And I've got this baker's twine that's got some gold thread, and I doubled it. So I'm gonna just put that through. I feel like I'm all over the place in this video. I'm sorry. We are in the midst of a bathroom remodel. I think it's taking all of my brain cells. Okay, so super simple. And then I think I'm gonna decorate it. I found these that were in that little stash, and this is the snowflake die that this bigger one came from. It's from Close to My Heart, so you might have that. And I cut it in Close to My Heart gold glitter. And then this is from the One of a Kind die set, which is now sold out, unfortunately. But I'm thinking that I want those popped up, so I have these little mini dimensionals. And I think that's gonna be the perfect size, at least for the back of this bigger one. And I'm trying to decide if I want one or can I fit a couple? Yeah, those won't show. So I'm gonna put a couple more. One of the fun things about tags is that you're not restricted to an envelope size like you are with cards or like a page protector size. So it's fun to go off the edges sometimes. And I think I'm going to go up and down on this one. So I'm not going off the edge much, but it is going off the edge. And you couldn't do that with a card or layout because it's going to, then it won't fit in the envelope or in the page protector. Now this one, I can't really do that, so I am just going to glue it down, but we're still going to have dimension from that bottom layer. And I'm going to use a liquid glue because that will stick well to my glitter paper. If you use a dry adhesive like a tape gun, that's not going to stick very well to your glitter paper. So that is super simple. If you didn't have the smaller snowflake, or maybe you didn't want to use a smaller snowflake, there's also this mix and match ephemera, which again is in the last chance. And this little ho 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 would be cute. I think, actually, you know what? It does look cute on top of the red. I was thinking that I wouldn't like it red on red, but I actually think I do like it. And then I can add this on foam and it will help hold down that smaller snowflake until it dries. Whatever, you know, any dies or sentiment pieces you have like this would look really cute. They always look cute across snowflakes. I love snowflakes because they're like the perfect embellishment. They're so easy to work with. You can just really pop them on anything. Of course, I know that doesn't work so well for those of you in the southern hemisphere, but it works well for me. I love snowflakes. And then that looks super cute, and that was so simple. So this one, I think I originally had the candy canes on here, but I think I'm actually gonna do it on this one. Now let me hole punch this. I've got my old school Crocodile, but you could use any hole punch. And I'm gonna use the smaller side. And I'm just gonna do it in the corner. You could do it at the top, but I figured, you know what, since I left this as a rectangle, I'm just going to keep that in the corner. You could also add these tags to scrapbook layouts. So, you know, if you make them for your gifts, save them. I actually do that a lot. I'll either save them for the next year or save them to put on my layouts. Now for this candy cane, I'm actually cutting little skinny strips from my dimensionals, because there's all this extra space, this border around there. And so I like to use that, of course, too. We don't want to waste it. But I want this top candy cane popped up. So I'm just going to add a few little pieces going down. That one looks cute. That looks really cute. There's this little holly piece too, and I'm wondering, no, I think that's going to be too much. I have 3 pieces. I think that's perfect. I'm going to glue that down. Now this one, it's just the paper. I'm just going to put these together with the ribbon, and it's literally just patterned paper and then that embossed piece that we did. So really simple. You could also forego the top layer if you don't want 2 layers of tags. Then just decorate this piece here. And this could be the piece that you know, add your little snowflake on and just have it be a single tag. I just really liked the layered look. I was feeling that this year, so that's what I'm gonna go with. This is super simple and sweet. Okay, let me show you how to do this one here. Let me show you what that's from. So this is Peaceful Evergreens, and the die set has these 2 pieces here. That's the loops. This is the tail, and then this is the topper for that ribbon. And it makes a really pretty 3D looking bow. So it's helpful if you use something to help train your paper first. Janice actually showed this in her last tag video. My friend Janice Gilhooly in Australia does Tag Tuesday. It's Tag Monday here in the US, but Tuesday for her, and her tags are just fabulous. So I'll link her channel down below if you want more tag ideas. Now you could ink these as well, but I am not going to. I am just going to leave it as is, but that would give more of that kind of vignette look like we were going for with the tags. And then these loops, you are just going to hold together, and then I'm going to use my reverse tweezers to hold that in place while it dries. It just needs a moment until it will hold on its own. And then we'll do the same for this side. I was going to do glitter paper, but then when you close this, you actually will see the white side of the glitter paper on the inside, which isn't a huge deal. That's totally okay. I think it just looks better when you have the red in there. Okay, so now I am going to add a little dot of glue here, and then we're going to glue these together, and I'll hold that. This is very forgiving. It doesn't have to be totally perfect, totally straight. Andrea used this on an amazing card in 31 Days of Christmas card. She made a card that looks like a gift wrapped present and used this, and it just made the card. It was so amazing. She even did like a double bow on some of them. It was fabulous. So look at how that's taking shape already. It looks so cute. So now we just need the cover to cover this little piece right here. And then this glue just needs a moment to have some help, but after a moment, it'll hold on its own even before it's totally dry. There we go. So that just covers all the mess, and that will rest on top, and all the glue will dry clear. You won't see it. And then we just need to pop that on there. And like I said, the nice thing about tags is that, you know, they can hang off the edge. So I can have this hang down the bottom, even though that's hanging off the tag, just like that. Now, the set that this deer comes in actually comes with a little bow too. I have one right here. I cut a bunch of those, and that is just, you know, it's just smaller. It would be a smaller proportion and would look really pretty too, but I really wanted that oversized look on here, especially since I can, because I don't use this on scrapbook layouts because of the dimension. It's just going to flatten anyway. So it's fun to be able to use that on tags, and it matches my red back here. So that is super cute. Okay, we have a whole bunch of finished tags, and I think I forgot to show you that this stamp set is from the Frozen Edges. All right, so let's take a closer look. You saw this one, I kept it as is. And then here is my like little miniature copycat version of that, where I added the lunar paste on here and added some layers and stamping. Here's the one where I used that perennial postage. I did not add the paste on this one, and I added some pieces from the Mix and Match ephemera. This is a great example of if you don't have a tag die, but maybe you have a fun shape, the deckled rectangles or even the deckled circles would work really well as well. Here's a fun little shape as well, and I was just going to leave this as is, but decided that this little bow looks really sweet up there and did that on a few other pieces as well. Now, let me actually pull a couple of these up. So I showed you this one on camera where we have the patterned paper, and I did end up inking around the edges with the pecan pie just to add that kind of distressed vintage look, since it's more of a vintage paper, and then it kind of matches this a little bit better. So all of these pieces have that pecan pie inked around the edge, and this one has, I added a bow too. I just couldn't leave it. I couldn't leave it plain, but it looks really cute still plain if you want to keep them even more simple. But I had the bows, so I figured why not, even though this is silver and I used gold. But you know, it's got the layer, and I used the embossed layer on the back and the cute pattern on the front. Well, this one I reversed it. I used the pattern paper on the back, and this is that zinnia paper, the one that is totally not Christmas at all. But look at how pretty it looks. You would never say like, oh, that's not a Christmas embossing folder, right? It looks so pretty. And then I added a little bow up there as well. And then my Sharpie will still work back here because it'll write on top of this. Some of the pattern papers you might want to have to, you might watch for that because it might be harder to write on there and see it. But that's just, you know, if you wanted the embossing on top and the pattern on the back, then that is another option. And then here are the other ones that I made. So I did find that if you use a thinner twine like this baker's twine, this more easily kind of pulls apart so you can see what's under there better. And this one I used that tree embossing folder like I talked about. So I tried to show a variety of different embossing folders. So this is that one with those 3 trees. I got a little heavy-handed with my paste, but that's okay. It still looks really pretty. And I used gold stickles and the lunar paste on that one. And then on this one, I just left it plain up here. So again, just very plain. I didn't add the extra die cuts. On this one as well, I didn't add the extra die cuts. I just used that pattern paper. And this is a different embossing folder, totally not Christmas or winter at all. And then I used the Stampin' Up enamel effects in gold. It's that more yellowy color. And the ribbon makes it a little harder to kind of look at this, see how it comes loose, but that's okay. I think that this, I only had a small piece of this, so I got 3 tags out of it, and the Poppy Parade matches the Poppy Parade here perfectly. And then this one I added a bow as well, and then I also added a couple of little tiny sprigs that I had back here just for a little added something. And then this is that same distress tile embossing folder with the lunar paste on it. And then last but not least, I wanted to show you the just 1 layer tag. So if you didn't want to cut 2 tags, you didn't want to layer, you want to just show all of your hard work on the embossed and pasted pieces, this is what that would look like. And I layered up a few little die cuts. And I even added a couple little bells. I found these the other day at Hobby Lobby, and I thought that would be really cute on tags, and it definitely is. So I just strung them on this baker's twine. I didn't glue them or tie them or anything. They're just on there before I looped it through there. So I think that looks really, really cute too. Don't forget to check out Callia's layout using embossing folders. I've got that linked on the playlist here, as well as the ornament layout I made recently. If you want to check that out, you can click that on screen. And I hope you have a great day.